Adana was sent out of the village and cursed, but how she got married to a billionaire shocked everyone. The evening sky over Lagos burned orange and gold, the last rays of sun reflecting off glass towers and expensive cars weaving through the traffic. Chief Damilola Adesanya sat in the back of his sleek black Range Rover, staring out the tinted window as the world he built sped past him. He was one of Nigeria's wealthiest men, founder of Adesanya Holdings, a giant in oil, construction, and real estate. But as the city lights began to flicker on, his heart felt emptier than the mansion he called home. His wealth had bought him everything, except peace. Years ago, he had loved a woman who loved his money more than his soul. When she betrayed him publicly, leaving him humiliated before friends and family, Damilola's heart hardened. From then, he stopped trusting anyone, stopped smiling genuinely. Even his business meetings became silent wars fought behind polite handshakes. He had no wife, no children, only bodyguards and assistants. His mother, who had long prayed for his happiness, used to say, "Wealth without peace is a prison made of gold." But she had passed, leaving her words echoing in his soul. One night, after a charity gala filled with fake laughter and glittering lies, Damilola returned home, took off his tuxedo, and looked in the mirror. The man who stared back was not living, only existing. He wanted to disappear, to see if the world would still recognize him without his billions. So he did. Within a week, Damilola transferred power of attorney to his lawyer, packed a small bag, and told everyone he was going on a retreat abroad. But instead of leaving the country, he disguised himself. Plain clothes, simple sandals, a little beard, and a cap. He drove quietly out of Lagos, through Ibadan, and into Ogun State, where he found a small village called Ayatoro, surrounded by lush green hills and a river that glimmered under the moon. There, nobody knew who he was. He rented a small hut from an old widow and began to live as a humble man named Kunal. For the first time in years, he woke up to the sound of birds, not phones. He fetched his own water, bought food at the market, and learned to cook his own yam. The villagers liked him, quiet, polite stranger who minded his business. But fate was not done with him yet. In the same village lived Adana, a young woman of 24, with eyes like morning dew and skin that glowed like polished ebony. She was kind, gentle, and beautiful, but cursed by lies. When her father died 2 years earlier, her stepmother, Mama Saad, accused her of witchcraft, saying her presence brought misfortune. The villagers, quick to believe gossip, forced her out. They said no good thing could live under the same roof as a witch. She was banished to a small hut near the forbidden stream, a place feared by all. Yet Adana never cursed her fate. Every morning, she woke early, fetched firewood, and sang softly as she worked. Her voice carried through the trees, like a whisper of hope. The village children loved her. Sometimes they sneaked to her hut to eat roasted corn, and she told them stories about kindness and faith. But their parents forbade it. "Stay away from her," they warned. "She brings bad luck." Adana bore the loneliness in silence. She prayed every night, asking God for just one thing. Not riches, not revenge, just peace. One morning, Adana was sweeping around her hut when her stepmother shouted from the main village house, "Adana, go and fetch water from the main village stream. I do not need that dirty water around your hut." "But Mama," Adana said softly, "today is the sacred day. No one goes to the stream on a J-day." Mama Saad's eyes narrowed. "Do I look like I care? Go now." Adana bowed and left quietly. She had learned not to argue. The path to the stream was long, winding through thick forest and tall palm trees. The air smelled of earth and rain. She walked, she whispered a prayer under her breath. Halfway there, she heard the sound of footsteps behind her. She turned and froze. A man stood on the path, tall, with kind eyes and a rough beard. He wore simple clothes and carried a walking stick. His presence felt calm, yet strong. "Good morning," he greeted gently. "You are heading to the stream?" Adana nodded shyly. "Yes, sir." He noticed the fear in her eyes. "You seem frightened. I hope I did not scare you." "No, sir," she said softly. "It is just, no one walks this way on Aicha Day." He smiled faintly. Maybe I am not from here. They walked together for a while. When her pot slipped slightly, he caught it before it fell. Their eyes met, and something unspoken passed between them, recognition of pain, perhaps, or the quiet bond of two lonely souls. When they reached the stream, Adana bent to fetch water, but he stopped her. "Allow me," he said. She blinked. "A man fetching water?" He laughed. "There is no shame in helping." He filled the pot carefully and lifted it onto her head. She murmured thanks, her cheeks warm. "May I know your name?" he asked. "Adana," she said softly. "And you?" "Kun," he lied gently. "Thank you, Kunlil," she said. "The village says today is forbidden, but you came. Maybe the gods sent you." He smiled, but said nothing. From that day, they met often, at the stream, at the market, or along the path. He brought her small gifts, a loaf of bread, a beaded bracelet, a smile. She brought him peace in return. She did not know he was a billionaire. He did not tell her, because he wanted her to love the man, not the money. Meanwhile, villagers began to gossip. "How can a stranger love a cursed girl?" They whispered. "Mama Sadr, her naughty only muttered. Useless girl, that is what is best for her." Adana hearing all these, tears filling her eyes. That night, as thunder rolled across the sky, she sat outside her hut and whispered to the heavens, "If there is still mercy left in the world, please do not let my pain be in vain." Months passed. Kunlip became part of the village. He repaired roofs, donated quietly to the local school, and helped the old widow next door. But his heart was always with Adana. One day, as usual, they met at the stream in the scared day, while they were sitting together under a big iroko tree, enjoying each other a moment. They saw someone holding a staff, hide it, and ran away. Adana and Kunlil kept quiet. They wonder why the man hides the staff, then wave it out, since it did not concern them. The next day, it was reported in the village square that the king's staff has missed, and whosoever finds it will be rewarded. Immediately, Kunli heard that. He remembered the man with the staff in the forest, but he kept calm. Later in the day, he met Adana, told her what happened. They both agreed to take the staff to the king and reveal who hides hide. They both went to the forest together, took the staff to the king's palace. On reaching the king's palace, they were both accused of stealing the staff. Adana auntie was very happy and also accused them as well. But the chief priest stepped in and saved them, told the king that they are telling the truth, and pointed at the king's junior brother as the one that stole their staff. The man was punished and sent out of the village. The king in turn apologized to Kunli and Adana and asked them what they want in reward. Kunli immediately told the king that he wants Adana to be his wife. Everyone in the crowd was laughing and surprised, but Adana was shocked and surprised as well. She wanted to reject and run away. He turned to Adana, who stood trembling, tears in her eyes. "You once said maybe the gods sent me," he said gently. "You were right. They sent you to heal me." He reached into his pocket and brought out a ring. "Will you marry me?" The crowd gasped. Even the trees seemed to hold their breath. Adana fell to her knees, sobbing. "I am not worthy." He lifted her chin softly. "You are more than worthy. You are the reason I found life again." The king immediately blessed them, and that is how the both turned husband and wife. When everyone were about leaving the king's palace, Kunle objected to speak. Everyone listened. He first apologized to the king, Adana, and the whole crowd for hiding his identity. Everyone was shocked, including the king. The villagers bowed their heads in shame. Mama Saad fainted where she stood. He also promised to renovate the king's palace. The king thanked him. Meanwhile, in Lagos, Damilola's lawyer grew worried. The company board was restless. The lawyer called him immediately. Kunal then told him his location and requested him to pick him up immediately. Kume knew that since he has revealed his identity, he is no more safe and needed to leave right away with his wife. Before anyone could speak, black SUVs rolled into the village, the sound of engines breaking the silence. Armed security stepped out, followed by familiar faces from television. The Kunla true identity was revealed. He was none other than Damilola Adesanya, the billionaire who had disappeared. They both joined the SUV and left. Adana wept. She thanked God for showing her mercy, Cunley hold her close to himself, and promised to love her. Months later, the wedding was the grandest the region had ever seen. The once banished girl rode into Lagos in a white gown, her head held high. She did not forget her past. She used her new position to build a home for orphaned and abandoned girls, ensuring no one suffered what she endured. From a lonely hut by the stream to a palace of love, Adana's story became a lesson for generations. And Damilula, now older and finally happy, often said to reporters, "I found love when I stopped searching for wealth and started searching for truth." Kindness never goes unnoticed. The world may cast you aside, but destiny never forgets your name. Love finds those who carry light in dark places. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, share, comments.